Greetings, I'm Demonac, and it's Hearthstone Ranked time. Well, it's been a little while since my last ranked play. We're going to see, I've made some changes to my deck, so we'll go take a look at it. It's been a while since we've done that anyway. I've made some modifications here. Part of it is based on suggestions that I had from the comments, like the fact that I really needed more one-cost things to trigger off combos, and it's true, my deck will work a lot better with that. The problem is there's this trade-off. I don't want to put in any more low-cost cards. My deck's already super low-end casting cost, which means that later in the game, if the game goes long, I'm drawing a lot of cards that aren't as good. Now, I try very hard to use low-cost things that are still good later in the game. I mean, Eviscerate doesn't even count as a low-cost thing to me. That's just an awesome card. But, like, the Bloodsail Raider can come in a little bit stronger later in the game if things work out right. The Ringleader is still 2 creatures for 1. The Geomancer, of course, I can cast him before playing a spell. So, there's a bunch of things. I managed to squeeze in Harvest Golems. I don't remember if I had those in there in this particular deck before, but, I mean, they're so good, it's hard not to have them. I dropped both of my mercenaries in favor... And I need to squeeze in more stuff, obviously. But I did, based on a recent patch adjusting the disenchant cost of a bunch of things, I blew up a bunch of my cards and got enough dust to make Ragnaros, barely. Sylvanas was still nerfed. She's still very good. All they did was increase her casting cost to 6 from 5. She's still perfectly good. But Ragnaros is more what this deck... I needed something that was... That would help me finish the game when I can't quite get across the goal line with all my smaller cards. And he definitely fits the bill, and I needed something like that in several of my decks. So, otherwise, yep. So I did try squeeze in one-cost cards. I chose the Abusive Sergeant, because of all the one-cost creatures, they all have this flaw that virtually anything that you get that costs 1 is going to have a 1 hit point, which makes them very weak against rogues, druids, and mages in particular, and, you know, kind of weak against everything else. But except for those 3 classes, there's not as much difference between 1 hit point and 2 hit points. Those are the ones where it really matters. But Abusive Sergeant, he's a 2-1 for 1, so I can use him to help trigger off Defias Ringleader. He's another way to get that off. He's another cheap way to get stuff, to get a point of damage with the Knife Juggler. That's a big deal. But the other thing is, I have so many weak creatures, giving any one of my small weenies plus 2 attack allows them to kill something with 4 toughness, generally. Which is that is a big edge for using him later on. So that works out, hopefully. I also switched my shivs for Fan of Knives. I mean, I'm still torn on this. We're going to see how it works out. I think, in the end, I don't have a choice. Because Shiv is faster, I could use it to trigger combos, right? But I've tried to improve my curve for that with the Sergeant. The Fan of Knives, for 1 more mana, it does the same damage, but it does it to all enemy minions. It also can't be used to damage the enemy themselves, but shiving the enemy, like, champion, or hero, or whatever they call it, really isn't worth anything unless you have out a couple points of spell power. So, this... I need to have the Fan of Knives because there are some decks that can just put out a large amount of weenies against like Murloc Warlock and some other Warlocks that you're likely to see that are very aggressive, very low casting cost stuff. They have a ton of 1 hit point creatures, and this will kill them off. Even better now that the Blood Imp has been nerfed. And plus, if I can combo this with a Geomancer or with an Azure Drake and get it to be 2 damage to all minions, at that point this becomes a very strong card for 3 mana. To do 2 damage to everything and draw a card. 1 point of spell power is all it takes to make this thing amazing. And at that point, it really helps me to fight off shamans with all their crazy totems, and they just tend to build up a lot of stuff. And also paladins. So I'll go back and see what I can do. I am currently rank 19, all full of stars. I think I'm on a win streak. But regardless, I just need 1 more win to go up a rank. which is down a rank because it's golf scoring and whatever. So that's where things stand at the moment. I have one fewer fat creature, but the fat creature I do have is Ragnaros instead of just a 7/6 with no abilities and a drawback. I have a few more things to trigger out combos. I have the Fan of Knives so that if I am running into a horde of weenies, there's at least some possibility that I can deal with it. More than there used to be. I think hunters are going to be a lot more dangerous with now that they dropped Unleash the Hounds, the version of Unleash the Hounds that makes a bunch of charge minions. They dropped it down to 2 mana. I have a feeling it's going to get bumped back up to 3 mana, because at 2 mana it seems very strong. It is situational and all that, but... oh man. I'm going to pitch the Deadly Poison as well. I need to get a creature. I'm going to keep the Eviscerate, because it's like cover. Harvest Golem, that's not too bad. A little on the slow side since I don't have a coin, and getting both Deadly Poisons in my starting hand is pretty craptacular. The old 1-drops that you can't drop on first turn. Yay. So nothing crazy from the Hunter's first turn. Make a knife. Knife. Is he going to shoot me for 2, or is he going to do something more annoying? Something more annoying. He's going to get an Animal Companion, which could be bad. Or Eaglehorn Bow, which can also be very bad. That's one of the things. That's what I had to take out. I had to take out my Acid Oozes. So we do have structural weakness in the deck. You can't have the 2 Acid Oozes in every deck and the 4 Silence cards. I've got no Silence in here either. My Silence is killing things. I have to just kill my way through everything that gets put in my way. I guess for now it's Harvest Golem. And I'm going to save the durability on my Wicked Knife here. Because if I'm going to be putting a Deadly Poison on it, which is probably going to happen next turn, I want to get the 2 uses. He's going to shoot me, and he's going to shoot this, I assume. Not even going to shoot the Harvest Golem. Fascinating. Now, I could turn him into a 3/4. He's all lined up to multi-shot me, but actually, the multi-shot would kill him, and he's newly been nerfed down to 2/3 from 3/3. Doesn't bother me that much. He still fulfills his function. It's another very good nerf, because it doesn't hamper his ability to work at all. But yeah, the multi-shot would no longer kill this guy's first phase. So I think that's actually a pretty good play, and I can hold on to my poisoning. I mean, I'm losing damage by not poisoning, sort of, but I don't have the mana for it. Next turn I'm going to be making an Azure Drake. I'm definitely not going to have the mana for the dagger, unless something weird happens and I don't want a 4/4, which draws me a card. Oh, he's got Hunter's Mark to go with his multi-shot. Ah. Or Unleash the Hounds. Okay, that's different. That's not why I think the Unleash the Hounds is so strong. It's strong if you have if you have a buzzard or a hyena. Then it's friggin' crazy what it can do. But in that case, he just spent everything he had to kill my stuff, which is really not the end of the world. There's the head crack. Might be able to start using that soon, although generally I have other stuff I'd rather be doing. I mean, you could make an argument maybe I shouldn't be playing the head crack in the deck at all. I don't know. It's definitely seemed helpful on some occasions, though. This one card, for a very large mana cost over time, and I have to frig around with it, is often requires me to not do other things. But for the one card in my deck, in my hand, like the one draw, it often does 6 damage in a game, or sometimes more. That was the kill command. That was unfortunate. I can make a lot of guys now. I think I will. Thing is, do I put the poison on there, or do I just stab that? I think I'm just going to stab that. I'm going to keep hanging on to these poisons, which is kind of weird. But I'd rather leave him with no minions in play.
Here we go.
There's a Master of the Hunt, or whatever that guy is. Can really mess up my face. Even with just a 1/1 there, If he comes out, he's got 4/3 for 4. I think he's 4. 4/3 for 3 or 4, and he gives +2/+2 in taunt. Then he'd have a 3/3 that could kill this and still have taunt. It would be a mess. This guy is pretty scary. He is quite dangerous, because he's going to make a pair of 2/2s when he dies. But he's a 6/5 now. Like, I've got to get rid of him. So I think I'm probably just going to assassinate him. I have both in my hand. The advantage with the minions in play. I can kill one like that. And I will finally... Oh, no, I can't do that. Oh, man. I forgot. I used one use of my dagger. Waste a whole deadly... I'd rather waste a whole deadly poison than a whole eviscerate. And I need my guys who are in play to at least force him to deal with them, so... Much as it pains me... You can't... If you only allow yourself to use the cards in the absolute optimal way, then you're not getting the full benefit of the versatility those cards give you. Yeah. Well, that's an unpleasant fellow. But he is not accomplishing anywhere near as much as he usually does, so that's okay then. You go right ahead with that. I don't think I really want to take the 4 from stabbing him, do I? On the other hand, I would be able to keep my guys alive. If I have more guys, he can unleash the hounds harder. Most of these guys die to unleash the hounds. Yeah. I'm going to do it that way. And make myself a dagger. And poison it. And I'm going to head crack my opponent. I think I'm going to stab once, in case something bad happens to my dagger. I think I'm going to save my abusive sergeant to kill a creature. It's probably silly, but he's giving one of these guys +2/+0 is a very efficient way to kill an enemy creature for 1 mana. And I am concerned about area of effect spells. If he uses an area of effect spell on these guys, it's going to be a lot less effective than if I had one more guy out. On the other hand, the multi-shot means I don't have anything out now, which is pretty disadvantageous. Well, that was good timing. I needed you. I'm very concerned about this. If he's got this, he probably does have the Master of the Hunt in here, and he's going to make it a 4/9 and start kicking my butt. I have such a big hit point advantage now, I'm wondering if I can just get away with assassinating that and just keep going. I can possibly just power down my opponent. So I'm going to do that. Board control it is. We're all in now.
Here we go.
Do 4 damage with this. I don't think it's a good idea. I need to save it in case there is, because then I'll have nothing to kill stuff with. So it would be really stupid to blow that and the assassinate in that turn without killing. Kill command. It's unfortunate. I used to have 2 flares in my Hunter's deck. I was trying to squeeze in cards so hard I took them out. But the thing is, the flare, it only costs 1 mana, and it cycles a card. It's like making your deck smaller. And if your opponent happens to have stealth stuff, or more importantly, secrets, you can blow up cards and get major card advantage out of it. Okay, you only have 9 health. I guess I can play one of these guys. About nothing.
Here we go.
Stab you. Head crack. At this rate, I mean, it's only 2 mana. I should really just keep it for the surprise value. I'll just refresh my dagger. I should probably have played him as well. I don't know. Area of effect or single target stuff, either way it's bad. But the other thing is, unless he gains health, I should just be able to kill him with these 2. Yep, okay. Doesn't really matter. Okay. So that worked out. Rank 18. Still on a win streak. So that's one game. Let's do a second game. I'm already 2 out of 3 stars, so actually, if I win this one with the win streak, I would go down another rank. Or up another rank. Hate reverse scoring systems for nomenclature. No matter what way you say it, it's always ambiguous. So, here's the thing. We know that the abusive sergeants are good. There's no question of whether or not they would be good in the deck. The question is it worth what I had to cut out for them, which more or less is the Aciduses. The Acidus is slightly larger for 1 more mana, and blows up weapons. And if I'm getting owned by weapons, then that's where you can really tell. Man, I should just keep this hand as is. As tempting as it is to pitch one of these things, the chances of getting a better card, which would basically just be the Defias Ringleader, extremely slim. It's difficult for a paladin to just kill this for 2 mana. So, yeah. You have been squelched preemptively. So, yeah. See. Not something a paladin does. Definitely worth it for him. Very annoying. Oh well. It's probably dumb, but it seems dumber to play this one, and the dagger doesn't have summoning sickness. Like, I want to put out the creatures while he still can't kill them as easily. Just try and get that advantage. Okay. This is where an Acidus would be nice. If I had an Acidus, I could have totally negated his last turn, like completely, and his next 5 minions would be smaller, which is no small feat. Next turn we can dagger and play her. For now, I'm going to get out the Harvest Golem. It is consecration time. Consecrate will be forthcoming. Now he can just make his 1/1s, and they still come out as 2/2s, and that's not half as bad as some of the other things he could be playing that will come out bigger. But even just this and an Ardent Defender to bubble it would be a 3/3 and a 2/2 with a bubble. That would be a pretty serious fighting force. For 1 card, 1 charge of this.
I hope you like my invention.
Novice Engineer, recently downgraded. She used to be a 1/2, but no longer. However, she's been undowngraded by the, whatever this thing is called, Sword of Justice. So that was very card efficient of him. Just see what I can do to decard efficient it. I could backstab one of them, which seems kind of excessive, but if I can prevent him from having any creatures out, it's handy. Then I'd be stabbing the other one, I guess, because I really, now that I have a poison in my hand, I'm not going to play her right away. That would be foolish. So, I'm going to do this. Poison it up. Kill one with poison. I'd rather preserve this guy's 3 toughness, because it is protecting him from Consecrate. It's probably dumb to use the backstab this way. Look at this guy, it makes it seem like even more of a waste, but I'm going to do it anyway, because I want to clear the board. And I think I do need to put this guy out, be a little bit more aggressive. He should at least take off another charge from his sword. And do an extra 2 damage right now. It's probably worth his while to use 1 charge to kill this guy. Like, attacking. If he consecrates, now this is taunting him into consecrating more, which is not great for me, but I can consecrate. That's really unfortunate. And that's an obnoxious combo. Oh, it did kill his own guy. Okay, the Consecrate would have actually been worse, because that guy would have survived it. It would have done 3 damage to everything, although it would have worked out similar. But now I can get her. Don't switch my shit, you stupid... Now, do I want to waste the poison in order to refresh my dagger? It is extra damage. I think I'm going to do it. I'm going to regret it next turn when he plays something and I needed that extra 2 damage to kill it, but I do get to refresh my dagger. And otherwise that mana is getting wasted. I have pretty good killing stuff in my hand here, but he's going to put out something in the middle that'll like just frustrate me. That's pretty frustrating. Note that he would have been killed by 3 damage. So yeah, unpleasant. Well, I hate playing him without his stuff, especially now that he's only a 2/3, but...
My shield for Argus!
Do what you gotta do. I'm way behind in the card advantage. As much as I'm ahead in life, this is gonna go downhill. Usually in the games where I take so little damage compared to my opponent, something incredibly messed up happens. Like, they get up to 9 mana and they play the dragon that changes target player's health to 15. That actually happened to me in a non-ranked game recently, and I lost because of it. Very frustrating. It's like, your card's not even that good, but boy did it work out for you this time. Is usually the gist of my complaints. Boy. Seems kind of lame to assassinate that, because much worse stuff is going to come out, but I don't think I have that much choice. I am hanging on to the momentum here barely at all. And if this is actually more of a slow paladin deck, which is quite possible, then I'm going to be in bad shape. He hasn't been making a lot of tokens, so I think it might be more of a slow paladin deck, which would be backed up by the Pyromancer. Pyromancer, Humility, or whatever that thing is. And yeah, that I knew that was going to happen when I assassinated. What am I supposed to do? Well, that's just friggin' horrible.
Ha, this guy's toast.
If I stab him, I'm taking like 1 billion damage. Take 6 damage and not even kill him. He'll probably rebubble him with something else. I don't have silence in here. I just have the other assassinate if I haven't wasted it already. So I shouldn't have assassinated the 5/6, but like, I guess this is the learning process. That 5/6 was going to like crush me, and I was not getting anywhere. But it can always get worse. And I was even thinking of him when I did it. So friggin'. I also don't have an Aciduce to get rid of his Ashbringer. I don't know what I can do in this situation. This is so bad. Like, stabbing him to get rid of the bubble is what I would normally do, but it's 6 damage, and he's going to hit me for another 6. Oh, I guess I don't have much choice. I'm sure I should have attacked, too, but I don't know. Really? I guess I should have attacked too, then they'd both be 2 hit points weaker. That is BS. You can see what this guy's deck does anyway. Oh, hooray! No, this one's a loss. He's gonna get the sword for it anyway. I even got the other assassinate, but it's not good enough. Ugh.
Lights out.
I'm so mega dead, but at least I can waste his other sword. It doesn't matter. I mean, he only needs to do 1 other damage to me in the entire game. Ragnaros is not going to save me from this one. Yay! He plays with a lot of late game stuff. I guess as a paladin, though, you can have a fair amount of confidence in your ability to survive to the late game.
Reporting for duty.
So, not even close to anything.
Here we go.
Alright. I got thoroughly owned there. There goes my star. 1 win, 1 loss. I did get ahead because I was on a winning streak, but I'm going to have to recapture that winning streak or it's going to be very slow going here. Next time. If you enjoyed this, please activate the like button. And don't forget to subscribe to Demonac Games for more Hearthstone Arena and other gaming videos.